This week on Alaska's Fishing Paradise, we'll head out with the father and sons and other Whalers Cove friends as they pursue majestic salmon and halibut. The camaraderie and trophies shared during this saltwater adventure will be remembered for years to come.
That was awesome.
Alaska's Fishing Paradise is brought to you by Blue Goo. Eliminate fog and static. Safe for all plastics and lenses. The Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, ensuring the future of wildlife and their habitat. And Whalers Cove, Wilderness and Sports Fishing Lodge. It's another Alaskan morning at Whalers Cove Lodge. Captain John Lumen is guiding longtime Whalers Cove guests, Bruce and Jill Borgreave. The couple is joined today by the father and son trio of Max, Stuart, and John Dean. As they begin their day of saltwater fishing, they head towards Danger Point to catch some bait.
We're going to go out and catch herring, then we're going to go catch some salmon, and then we're going to go and finish up our day by catching halibut.
Zach and Jimmy.
With multiple lines in the water, it doesn't take long before the bait bucket starts filling up. Captain John puts away the bait rods and points the outing toward the salmon grounds. Due to the abundance of anglers on the boat, they decide to draw cards out of a hat to determine the fishing order. Anticipation of today's bite builds as Stuart shares pictures of his latest edition with Bruce. As they arrive at the salmon grounds, they're greeted by a fish-finding competitor. Lines are baited and dropped to varying lengths, ensuring that all columns of fish beneath the surface are targeted. The shallow water set is the first to be hit as Max Dean begins to reel it in.
Now it was the little pig got all fouled up. We lost it.
Luckily he's getting the pigs out of the way for me.
John Dean is up next, but comes up short as he sets the hook and finds nothing on the other end.
The bait was still on. It was seaweed, I'm telling you.
Yeah, usually like reel in a fish. You don't just...
As the line is reset, the jovial captain can't resist giving his guests some grief.
He's like John Belushi in Animal House.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long for John to hook up again.
It wasn't a king, but it was still fun.
Bruce finds himself hooked up on another Alaskan beauty.
Silver. Silver.
Sometimes you just get lucky. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
The bite slows, so John Dean and the captain try a fish dance, hoping to trigger some luck.
In the meantime, we're spinning in a circle.
A rod tip dances with a fish on the other end, and Jill gets a turn at the reel.
Hoist that thing. Yeah.
What kind's this?
This is a...
Gray or something? Or?
no, it's... what do they call it? Silver gray.
Silver gray, yeah.
That's going to be a nice fish.
One rotation is complete, and Max is up again. Little does he know he's found a typical bottom feeder that's ventured to shallower waters.
You can see this one's been hit out before by some sort of a sea lion or something.
Where?
Right here, see that?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like a bear scratch type thing. What do you think? Let him go. Roll
Yeah,
up. How long is he? How long is he?
He's a keeper, right?
Oh, he's a keeper.
Okay. I kind of would have liked to have kept it, I think, but hopefully I'll get a bigger one.
Coming up on Alaska's Fishing Paradise, rods continue to bend as the anglers find themselves reeling in all sorts of Alaskan species. Then, this saltwater adventure changes pace as they go deep in search of halibut and cod. Stay tuned for more laughs and memories when we return.
Every fisherman should be more in touch with his feminine side.
Welcome back to Alaska's Fishing Paradise. Before we hop back into the saltwater action, let's join Captain Garfield George on this week's segment of Straight Talk.
When I go back cutting, I always use a pretty heavy lead to get down to 500, 600 feet of water. And I see a lot of people use clips to hold their leads on, but I don't know how they lose so much. You're bound to lose a lot of gear if you use clips, just a regular knot. Put it inside that knot, go around it. So you have 2 knots, and just cinch them down. See, there's one right there and right there, and you just pull them together. And it cinches it down pretty good, so it doesn't come off. You use probably anywhere from 2 pounds to 4 pounds to get down to blackcod country. And I just loop it through like that. It works better than one of those clips because it doesn't fall off. You catch a halibut or something, it just shakes around and these balls come off.
It's Monday morning aboard Captain John Lumen's vessel. The guests are hooked into various saltwater species. John Dean from California is battling a fish from the depths. Once surfaced, it's found to be another pink salmon, John's second of the day.
2 pinks.
Soon after John's catch, it's Bruce's turn as he grabs the rod and sets the hook. The elusive pink surfaces and dances around Captain John's net.
What a team! What a team!
Fish on!
Stuart Dean ensures he's not left out as he powers a fish up from the deep. The fish challenges Stuart as his dad, Max, cranks in the downrigger.
Oh yeah, there we go. Come on, buddy.
That was awesome. Nice. Oh, that was beautiful. I said I got to eat a granola bar, and as soon as I eat some, it'll bring a fish in, and it did. It worked.
After the lost fish, the action slows momentarily, and the guys are left looking for any way to change their luck.
Fishy, 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 fishy.
Captain John contemplates switching gears and going after halibut, but decides to fish for salmon a bit longer. For John, there's no sibling rivalry out on the water. Trips like these are all about brotherly love and having fun.
I've caught 2 day before and yesterday, so he was obviously due. I just want my dad to catch one. You know, my brother turns 50 this year, and my dad next year he'll turn 70. So this was his trip. He wanted to do this, and I'm just happy he decided to do it because it's been really fun. We haven't gotten to do like a father-son trip in a while, so it's just a great place to come and great to just be out with him. And we've been having a great time. So
Karma sets in, and John finds himself hooked into a nice fish. As John lands another pink salmon, the decision is made to release it. After the catch and release, they finally agree that the halibut are where it's at.
John was talking about maybe pulling up for the salmon, and we're gonna get set up and head over and get some halibut now. Look for some halibut.
They change rods and set up to vertically jig, hoping to lure the halibut from the bottom. Bruce isn't afraid to show some muscle while fishing in this deep water.
Every fisherman should be more in touch with his feminine side.
John again finds his line being pulled as he reels in a rockfish.
Lays everywhere. That's a nice one, though.
The first halibut hole proves to be slow, so they venture on to the next spot in hopes of finding some hungry halibut. As John baits his lure, his dad Max is busy working a fish at the bottom.
The halibut are here. Look at this.
The small halibut is not what the Dean family is looking to take home, so they return it to the sea. Coming up on Alaska's fishing paradise, the fishing heats up. Bruce puts his sissy belt to use, and wishes come true for these anglers as they jig for halibut. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Alaska's fishing paradise. Whalers Cove guests are fishing with Captain John Lumen. This morning has been productive, with the anglers hooking into many species, but now they zero in on the halibut.
Halibut are here. Look at this.
Bruce Borgreave from Mexico is fishing from the bow of the boat and hooks into a great bottom dweller. The fish doesn't come up without a fight as Bruce tries to wear him out. Captain John gaffs the great halibut and pulls him aboard.
Now I got to catch my breath. Getting old and fishing is a blessing.
Swim and be free.
Well, don't be free.
Nice box.
Stuart Dean finds his luck at the stern of the boat, reeling in another Alaskan fish. As Stuart continues to do battle, Jill Borgreave sneaks a catch on board, a beautiful Pacific cod.
Yeah, feels pretty good. I don't know how big it is. I don't think it's a huge one, but we got something on there. He's still tugging. He was trying to go back down.
Upon landing Stuart's halibut, it's agreed that it's too small, and the fish has returned to the sea.
See him kills. See him back.
Just a little refreshment on here. Then we'll go back
While
out.
Bruce is losing his bait on the bow of the boat, Max is having the fight of his life as he works a great fish from the depths. The fish tests both the tackle and Max as it comes to the surface.
As soon as I hooked him, he took a big long run. Got that stop, started in, and he ran again.
Come on, you old geezer.
Okay.
Captain John strains to bring it in the boat and realizes this Alaskan beauty will not make the slot limit.
Way too big.
Max, my friend, had a halibut that was oversized according to the slot limit, had to put it back in the water, which is almost devastating when you catch a big fish that you work so hard on.
It's about 48 inches.
Undeterred, Max pulls in yet another halibut that fits the slot limit.
Finally.
While Max takes a moment to relax after the two great halibut fights, Bruce quickly lands a silver gray rockfish.
One ugly fish, isn't it? But some pretty nice fillets on there. Guys are killing me.
Look at this tangle.
The Dean family have a moment together as they realize they've tangled their lines. Jill gets in on the action with a great halibut that puts up very little fight. Shortly after, John pulls another keeper halibut to the boat.
Oh, he's nice fish.
Nice job, John. Nice job.
While putting John's halibut in the cooler, Jill pulls what seems to be a big fish from the deep. But Jill's surprised as the fish surface, and it's both a halibut and a great cod.
Really good job.
Too funny. Wow.
Nice
Size of
cod,
that
too.
baby.
Yeah, that big cod that Jill brought in, that was a surprise. I've never seen one that big, and he was just a big hog.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Look how much line you got to go, dude.
Stuart follows suit. It's yet another double, but this time it's 2 legal halibut.
You got like 2. Well, that's what it is. You got 2, but the bottom one was
Nice. However, this double means 1 gets thrown back due to a 1 halibut per day limit.
He's going back.
I think all of us ended up getting a halibut, so we filled the boat with a halibut, so that was good. And then after the halibut, we did have a couple of those doubles on the halibut, which was nice. We had 2 halibut, and then we had a halibut and a lingcod come up at the same time, so we had 2 doubles back to back, which was kind of nice. Jill and I did that.
Coming up on Alaska's Fishing Paradise, the party is tagged out on halibut, but try their hand at salmon before heading in. These anglers find success trolling as they continue making memories in Southeast Alaska. Alaska's Fishing Paradise is brought to you by Blue Goo. Eliminate fog and static. Safe for all plastics and lenses. The Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, ensuring the future of wildlife and their habitat. And Whalers Cove, Wilderness and Sports Fishing Lodge. Welcome back to Alaska's Fishing Paradise. The anglers take a moment to refuel as they change course to pursue salmon once again. After a successful morning of both trolling and jigging, the anglers set up for the afternoon in hopes of a great salmon bite. The downriggers are set, and Bruce Borgreave is first to grab the rod. Bruce's wife Jill sees the other rod go down, grabs it, and a potential double begins. Bruce and Jill cross lines, but Bruce lands his first and untangles the line. Now it's Jill's turn to bring her fish aboard, but it doesn't give up easily. She works the fish to the boat, but it shakes the hook.
Mass chaos.
Max Dean is next as he reels in salmon from the deep. They decide not to keep the pink and let it shake the hook.
Big fish, John. Big fish.
John Dean doesn't hesitate to set the hook, hoping to find a king salmon on the other end. And John gets his wish.
Yeah, baby. King me.
Nice.
King me, baby. When you reel a pink in, they don't fight that much. They're not as heavy. The king salmon, they're heavier and they really fight. So it's a lot more fun bringing them in. You know you got one on because they fight the whole way in.
Bruce quickly finesses in a pink salmon. The kings are hard to come by. As the lines keep coming up with pink salmon, they decide to call it a day, and the downriggers are brought in. As Captain John readies the crew and boat to navigate back toward the lodge, humpback whales pass by while they breach and feed. It's the end of a great day on the water. Upon docking, the fish are sorted and carted out, while tall tales and laughter are exchanged.
I have been here 25 of the past 27 years. So it's obvious that my wife and I like to come here, and we do come together. And you may see it looking gloomy in this picture. You may expect to have a little bit of rain. However, the thing that you should expect is to have a great time. I tell friends, it's the true place where you can call it catching instead of fishing.
The Dean brothers embrace today's bounty that includes king salmon, halibut, rockfish, and cod. Great fishing. and great camaraderie. While the anglers unwind after a great day on the Salt, let's see what Chef Jack Wentz has planned for dinner on this week's edition of Chef's Corner.
Welcome to Chef's Corner. I'm Chef Jack Wentz, and today we're going to make an Alaskan-style bouillabaisse. We've got our fumet, our croutons, and some really nice fresh fish today. We're going to start by putting our fumet into the pot. Okay, we want to add our fumet. We want to bring this up to just a simmer on a medium-high heat. Now that our fumet has come up to a nice simmer, we want to start adding our seafood. So we want to put the shrimp in first because it needs to cook a little longer than the rest. A few pieces in there. Okay, now we can add our halibut and our salmon. And again, we don't want to overcook this. It'll only take a few seconds for this to cook. And we want to finish it up with a little bit of our crab. A very important component in bouillabaisse is the garlic crouton. We made ours today with just some rustic bread and some garlic and olive oil, and then we baked it to a nice toasty brown. Now that we have our crouton in the bowl, we want to add our bouillabaisse. We want to start by arranging the shrimp on top of the crouton. Adding a few pieces of fish. And then we're going to ladle this nice broth right over the top. And we'll finish it with a little sprig of parsley. And there we have it, folks, Alaskan style bouillabaisse.
We like you, so like us on our Facebook page. And be sure to visit our website at WhalersCoveLodge.com.